When it comes to roads, there were alternatives presented to the Walker administration, and he chose to kick the can down the road.
You talked about, you told us this great story of Walker's lack of interest in roads. You be willing to tell us that story again?
One of the most interesting cabinet meetings, certainly the longest meeting that we ever had in my 4+ years in the administration, involved roads. Secretary Mark Gottlieb had put together a blue ribbon panel that had spent a long time coming up with recommendations and proposals that might make a difference in fixing our roads that are still one of the worst in the country. And he made a great presentation, showed some of the alternatives. Yes, it would involve a little bit more on the gas tax, a little bit more on registration fees, and then we could get competitive with our contiguous states. One of the most important points and effective points that I thought he made was that Wisconsin drivers are saving a few dollars every year with lower registration fees and lower gasoline taxes, but we're paying much more than that in damage to our cars. And he had data that showed that. And many of us in the cabinet saw that, and we thought and voiced opinions that said this seems pretty simple. We pay a little bit more on gas taxes and registration fees, and we get better roads, and our cars are better, and our roads are safer. Secretary Gottlieb made a great presentation. The cabinet was, how would I say, I thought at least half the cabinet was very supportive of this, but pushback came from some cabinet secretaries who said, what would talk radio say if we raised the gasoline tax or raised registration fees? And many of us looked at each other and looked around the room and said, what will they say? They may not like it, but they should recognize if they read this report from Secretary Gottlieb, they'll see that our roads are awful. And it's hurting drivers, it's hurting Wisconsin businesses, and it's not that hard. Now and then, you've got to collect a little bit more. Cars are more fuel efficient, so we're paying less on gas taxes, but our roads are deteriorating at a rapid rate. The other point that Gottlieb made very clear was kicking this can down the road leads to a dramatic increase in the cost of fixing these roads. And he showed almost a geometric increase in future expenditures down the road if we postpone this. And that's exactly what's happened. Good roads are important. They're important to business, they're important to consumers, and drivers, safety, and everything else. And I was very surprised and disappointed that the Walker administration chose to do absolutely nothing about the poor condition of roads in Wisconsin. To simply say we'll find more efficiencies at the Department of Transportation and we'll borrow hundreds of millions of more dollars and kick that can down the road, let others pay for it down the road, I thought was very disappointing and I think wrong for the state of Wisconsin.